Ever stared at a blank page, unsure how to start? You're definitely not alone in this struggle. Today, we're diving into crafting powerful introductions for academic papers in higher education or upper-level high school courses. Let's kick things off with introductions. An introduction sets the stage for your paper. There's an old adage about public speaking that goes like this: you start by telling people what you're going to tell them, then you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. An introduction is the part where you are telling people what you are going to tell them. You do that with a hook. The job of your first paragraph and even your title is to hook the reader, provide background, and present your thesis and thesis map. Think of it in 3 steps. First, hook your reader. Gain their attention using a strategy that relates to where the reader is at logically, emotionally, or ethically, and begin by appealing to their senses within that domain. If your reader is coming from an emotional place for their position, meet them there. So, in a paper about reproduction rights, let's say your audience emotes that abortion as a view of it being fetal murder. To counter for a paper that is pro-reproductive freedom, you might emote a hook of an assaulted child being forced to birth the product of that assault. To start, we meet our audience in the same logical, emotional, or ethical state they experience, but with a counterpoint using the same strategy. We then slowly shift that state to one that can change minds. This begins by providing some context. For example, in the previous example, you'll likely need to shift your emotional hook to a logical body paragraph example that you initiate as the first part of your thesis map. Logic involves adding statistics, research, facts, and irrefutable evidence that can sometimes shift the emotional view to a logical one instead. Similarly, those who begin from a place of logic are often moved when first met in a hook that uses a counter-logic, something rational they can follow that presents a counterpoint. To shift a logical thinker, you'll need to ensure your thesis map and body paragraphs include ethical arguments, because even the most logical reasoning can be dismissed if the reader can see the overall positive impact to the larger community or society as a whole. If an audience is ethical, then you hook with an ethical counterstory and shift in your thesis map and body paragraphs with emotional appeals. Even an expert ethicist can be swayed by an emotional appeal that illustrates how their ethics might negatively impact an individual at the personal and emotional level. Like if an ethicist imagines a world where all children live happily, but is presented with an account of Oliver Twist's life and realizes that equity to pursue happiness may impact our fate, as well.
In other words, basically, your hook is a 1-for-1 match to your audience's stance, and from there you use logic, ethics, and emotion like a game of rock, paper, scissors to help nudge your reader from their stance over to yours. Logic beats emotion by showing reason grounded in clarity. Emotion beats ethics by showing how the one's experienced sometimes is more important than the majority's. And ethics beats logic because facts are no good if they do not serve the greater purpose of humanity as a whole.
So finally, state your thesis clearly after the hook establishes reader rapport, and use that thesis declaration of your paper's purpose, without saying anything about the paper itself or its writer, and it is attached to the map to begin guiding the reader through the paper's sequencing, starting with that first counterpoint.